back to Behind the Laughs, man. This is a very special one right here for me, dog. If it wasn't for this brother that I'm about to introduce to you guys, I would not be in this game. One of the owners of one of the foundations for black comics, the Uptown Comedy Club, the one and only Kevin Brown, aka .com. Welcome to Behind the Laughs, brother.
What up, Jimbo? Well, let me throw this in. When he says that he would be somewhere else, you don't even understand. You don't even understand. Because when I met you, you was like 15. We had a club on 125th Street. He was too young to get in. You was probably out there selling stuff that would get a lot of people in trouble. And he was a wild boy.
Extra wild, man. I remember I used to be outside harassing the people standing in line waiting to get in, because there used to be like hundreds of people just waiting for the shows to go in. And I lived right up the block from you guys. And I remember I used to go over there every Friday and Saturday and just tell jokes in front of the people on the line. And God bless his soul, man. Mama Brown, the regulator, doc, came outside. It was like, get away from this club. Get away. Bothering these people. And I was like, I just want to make them laugh. Well, you can't be over here. You know what? I'm going to put you on stage on the New Jack segment next Sunday. And if you're not funny, you better not come back over here, because I'm going to call the police on you. I looked at this lady. I said, are you for real? I can come back next Sunday? And she said, yes. Just like that. Yes. Come on, baby. And just started letting people in the club. I was like, I went back to the block and told all my niggas, yo, dog, I'm performing at the club next week, Sunday. It meant the world to me. It changed my life.
Well, listen, Mama Brown is my mom's, right? And my mom's, she raised two black boys into black men, right? My father was in the military. He was in the Merchant Marines for 45 years, so he wasn't around. So my mom's knew how to raise black boys from the hood, and she raised a lot of these comics. Like when we were making deals, when the Uptown Comedy Club started blowing up right there on 125th Street, I was a promoter. I was a party promoter, right? So I started getting offers for TV deals, and I'm talking about, this is 1990. This is before we had all these young millionaires and billionaires, right? It was a different game. So I'm starting to get these offers. Now, I went from a party promoter who did, house party in the Bronx and house parties in Harlem and, little $250 parties. So now I'm getting offered, $50,000 deals, $100,000 deals. And I don't know how to negotiate them deals. I'm a party promoter from around the way. But I'm going back and forth to Hollywood, and I needed someone I could trust to hold down the club, and that was my mom's. So my mom's raised you and a lot of comics, right?
Me, talent. Tracy Morgan, Rob Stapleton, Corwin Moore,
everybody,
Maceo, Capital
JB
J,
Smooth.
JB Smooth. I can go
Mike
on.
Epps, everybody, right?
Bro.
And she was meeting these comics, and I'm going back and forth to Hollywood, but my eyes were on the prize. I'm focused, right? So my moms would call me and tell me when there was somebody special. Right? Somebody special that, was starting to pop. But she had this way with, like I said, with boys from the hood, right? That was a movie now, but that was from boys from the hood, because, like, with my father being away, my older brother, my partner, when we were young, somebody stole his bike. And my mom's was that woman who'd go out the house with her bathrobe and a kitchen knife. And she went and she got my brother's bike back. She had to take me because she didn't have no babysitter. So she comes out the projects and she taking me, and she sees my brother points out the guy with his bike, and she got the kitchen knife, and her house coat is open, and she snatched the bike from the dude that took my brother's bike, my older brother, and she took the knife and she spun around like Wonder Woman, right? She spun around, and I don't know how old I was. I'm 7, I'm 8, but I remember my mom spinning around with the knife, and I don't think these dudes was gonna jump her, but the whole neighborhood was fascinated that this black lady got her kitchen knife and she's spinning around to get the crowd back, right? And she got my brother's bike back. She grabbed my hand, told my brother, get on the bike and ride away. So he rides away, and she grabs my hand and she takes me back to the house. So my mom was that type of woman. So when we were doing the Uptown Comedy Club, we started having nights where we got 400 people packed in the club, 500 people packed in the club, and maybe 30 people paid, because you know how people are. Everybody that came in, oh, I'm Kev's friend. Oh, I'm Dre's friend. Oh, I'm Smokey's friend. Oh, I'm Dougie Doug's friend. Oh, I'm Flex's friend. And my mom had to come to the door to make sure somebody paid to get in. Mm-hmm. My mom was like, same way she
was on me. She was like that with everybody. It was like Family Guy.
If we didn't bring her to the door, we would have been crowded and broke. Like, we would have been crowded and closed. Mm-hmm. Our people is something else. Our people is something else. But, yeah, she was a special lady.
When I was around you young, you had a television show that was on Fox 5.
First run syndication is what they called it, where you shoot a show and you sell it to the local stations around the United States. So the people from the Apollo, they were doing Showtime at the Apollo at the time. And when they'd come in town to produce Showtime at the Apollo, they'd drive by Fifth Avenue, and they'd see we had lines down the block and around the corner. So one day we doing a show, and we had an intermission. And I'm there, and between shows, I'm selling chicken wings and Heinekens and whatever. And this dude comes to me, and he says, hey, my name is Don Weiner, executive producer, creator of the Showtime at the Apollo. Now, mind you, I'm a promoter from the Bronx. I'm not savvy. I'm just a dude hustling in New York. And he says, hey, I watched your show. I watched the first half of your show. You know you have a TV show here. I'm from around the way, so you're not impressing me with that kind of talk. Come on, man. So I said, man, you going to buy some chicken wings or what, man? You blocking the line. Oh, yeah. So he reaches in his pocket, pulls out some money, he buys a Heineken and some chicken wings. That's all I wanted. I wanted my $20. A year and a half later, we had a TV deal, and we was on TV. And the funny thing about the hood back in the days, when you told people back in the days that you had a TV show, everybody's thinking it's Manhattan Cable Network or local.
Yeah.
You know, nobody could conceive that a guy from the projects in the Bronx could have a nationally syndicated TV show. And back in the days, we were competing against, there was a show called American Gladiators. I don't know if any of y'all are old enough to remember American Gladiators.
Yes. Nitro.
Right. Yes, with Nitro. So they would fly us out to San Francisco, and we go to the places, and it wasn't WWE back then, it was WWF. Yes. So we go in there, and we go into these events, and Hulk Hogan is there, and we hobnobbing with Hulk Hogan. It was crazy because to make that leap from being a local promoter in Harlem, the hardest thing in the world was to get Hollywood to come to Harlem. Because back then, Harlem wasn't the safest place in the world.
Facts.
And if you got off the train to come to Harlem, you're probably not gonna make it to your destination safely. It was a different time.
Yeah, facts.
Now I don't know if it's the same way. I don't know. I think you can make it to your destination safely now, right?
It's definitely gentrified.
You make it safe now, right?
They gonna make it safe for those folks.
Yeah. But back then it was touch and go, right? Back then it was touch and go. So it was real hard to get Hollywood to come to Harlem back then to see the talent that was performing. But back then, on our stage, I mean, like my mother discovered Tracy Morgan, right? She cleaned him up to get him ready for the game. John Leguizamo used to come to the club, and he used to bomb every week, right? Every show. People hated what he was trying to do. He was doing that Broadway stuff, that theater stuff. Yeah.
He was before his time.
Before his time. And Mike Epps would come through. And
Flex Alexander.
Oh, Flex. Flex was my first.
Dougie Doug. Paul Mooney. I remember.
Paul Mooney was the head writer for the show.
Dude, I remember you gave us all these flyers to go promote a Paul Mooney live taping.
He taped his album. At the Uptown Comedy Club.
Like 10,000 flyers.
Maybe more. Maybe 20,000. Because I was a promoter.
No, just our particular group. Yeah, it was a task.
Because we used to have to promote hard like that because we were just getting used to the internet. It wasn't the thing. There was no Instagram. There was no Facebook. It was hard flyers. And we used to promote hard like that. So we trying to fill a spot that holds 100 people, a couple hundred people, and we putting 20,000 flyers on the street.
I remember running around with you in the streets, bro. You used to have this car you called the Gray Lady. A real piece of shit.
A real piece of, yeah.
The inside interior used to hang. I used to have to push it up. And you was driving. You said, fuck these bitch ass niggas. I never
said that.
You said, fuck these bitch ass niggas. I'm going to become a comic. I'm going to no longer manage no one. Because when you manage motherfuckers, they leave. One thing I know is I will never leave me. Watch what I do.
Here's the thing. I was trying to help people. I was trying to make people's careers. And I never coveted the spotlight. I still don't, right? I was cool being in the back. But guys stop listening. Here's what happens in the hood. This is what happens in the hood. I'm talking about in the hood of football, in the hood of basketball, in the hood of comedy, in the hood of rapping. When somebody in the hood starts making good, when they start getting hot, now other people's whispering in their ears. And that's the most dangerous time, because those people whispering in your ears, they don't know anything that they're talking about, right? So when we started making people hot from, now mind you, we was right on 125th Street. We was right on Fifth Avenue. And the comics that were coming were
from all over the country.
From the hoods of Brooklyn, from the hoods of Queens,
from the hoods of Detroit,
from the hoods of
Compton,
from the hoods of Chicago, from the hoods of, but every place was hood. Every place, everybody was urban. Everybody was broke. Everybody was struggling. So we created something. We got something popping. Now people are whispering in your ear. Your homegirl, your uncle, your cousin, I could do better than that. And they don't know. They just opportunists, right? Mm-hmm. So I started watching the pattern of people whispering in their ear, and everyone had an agenda. My agenda was to build something here in the community, but everybody else whispering in their ear, has an ulterior motive. They're starting to see money. So I got to a point where I'm like, why am I helping everybody else when I could do this for myself and I don't have to worry about the betrayal, the sabotage, right?
When I saw you on fucking 30 Rock as a series regular, nigga, with the same motherfucker you used to manage that left you and that did not help you get on the show, Tracy Morgan must have looked at you like you had 4 fucking heads when he saw you walking on set. What was that like? When the first time you walked on the set of 30 Rock and Tracy Morgan was there, the same guy that you was managing, bro. I know that had to mean something to you.
That was wild.
What was that like, bro?
Okay, you had most of the story right. You got most of the story right.
You said, fuck these bitch ass niggas. That's a fact.
Okay, I said that. All right, I said that.
And you will never leave yourself.
But I was different, right? I was a different person.
I don't
talk like that anymore, right?
Yeah, you were angry. I would be angry too.
Nah, but you know what's funny? Let me tell you what's funny. When you say stuff like that, you don't expect anybody to repeat it 20 years later, right? You just saying it. You just talking, right?
Wow.
What you said. I said something almost exactly like that. Okay. So I tell you what. Here's something I did not know. I did not know this. When I did get on that show called 30 Rock, I didn't know who Tina Fey was. I didn't watch Saturday Night Live. It was called the Tina Fey Unnamed Project, so I wasn't even checking for it. Yeah, whatever. And I heard Tracy Morgan was on it, but I wasn't. I remember that me and Tracy didn't necessarily, in our last interactions, was funny, right? Mm-hmm. I think he was Hustle Man on Martin at the time, or he may have been on SNL. So he was feeling himself. So our last interactions was funny. So when I heard he was on the show, it was his show, I was hesitant to even continue. I was hesitant to participate. But I didn't tell anybody I knew Tracy Morgan. I didn't tell anybody I had managed him. I didn't tell anybody that, he knew my family. He was friendly with my sister, my brother, my mother. My mother raised him. My brother raised him. But I didn't tell anybody from NBC that. I just was an actor at that point, trying to get a job and trying to keep my job. They organically put me with Tracy Morgan because I didn't go on the show as a series regular. I went on the show as an extra. It was called featured background, where you're going to be on camera, but you don't have no lines, you don't have no character name. And they just happened to place me with Tracy for the pilot. So they place the extras around, and they say, Kev, you're going to be sitting here. Grizz, you're going to be sitting here. And there was 4 of us in his crew. So they sat us around this big table. And Tracy comes later. Tina Fey comes later. I'd never met Tina Fey before, and Tracy didn't know that I was on the show. And we're shooting the pilot, day 1. When the stars come in, they tell extras, don't speak to the stars unless they speak to you first, and don't make eye contact. Tracy's limo pulls up. So, I think they called first team. First team is hitting the set and whatever, and make an announcement. So Tracy Morgan walks in, and I didn't know on the first day that the people that were producing 30 Rock were the same people that produced Saturday Night Live. So all of the heads of Saturday Night Live was there. Lorne Michaels was in the room, but I didn't know, and I'm the executive producers of Saturday Night Live, the producers, the writers, the whatever, all those people from Saturday Night Live. Tracy knew them, but I didn't know them. So I'm sitting there and I'm quiet, and he walks in, and Tracy knows how to make an interest. If you ever hang with Tracy Morgan, you're going to have more fun than you ever had in your life. It's a party, right?
Yes.
And it's hilarious. So he walks in, and he's doing this Tracy Morgan thing. And he's seeing people, and he's hugging people, and yeah. So he goes all the way to the back of the restaurant. I'm still sitting there like an extra, and I ain't saying a word. Then I hear from the back, after he goes, hugs Lorne Michaels, I hear somebody go, "Is that Kev? Yo, Kev!" Now, mind you, I'm an extra. I don't even have a character name. He makes this speech to the whole production on day 1. He said, I was a little nervous to come back to TV, but y'all got my family here. You got my family. Yo, I know y'all gonna take care of me. Yo, let's make some TV. And everybody started clapping. And he had really shouted me out. And that changed the game for me now.
That's a fact.
I went from being an extra to 2 episodes later, they say to me, Kevin, you're invited to the read-through. I didn't even know what a read-through was. The read-through was the table where your name is in the script, and you have lines, and your money changes. So extras was getting like $129 a day.
$150, something like that. Yeah.
When you go from extra and no character name to now you have lines, the whole game changes. Yeah. Now you're making money.
Yes, sir.
But it was because of that speech Tracy made.
Facts.
So Tracy Morgan, as much of an asshole as he could be, that speech he made from his heart, when he saw me at that moment, he recognized a couple of things. He recognized that we had more great times than we had bad times, but he had to be bugging out. How did I get there?
Facts.
Right? How did I get there without going through him? Because I wasn't the type to call you. I'm not going to call you and ask you to put me on.
Facts.
I'm going to go get put on.
Yep.
And I think he respected that too.
And I'm gonna tell you that nigga. I filmed in season 2 of The Last OG, and he didn't know. When that nigga found out I filmed in The Last OG,
snip, snip.
That nigga cut my seed out of that shit. If I didn't have pictures and all of me on set, bro, I could have been whitewashed.
You couldn't even prove it.
I could have been. Oh, man.
But I tell you what, behind the laughs, when I first got on 30 Rock had big stars. Like we had Tina Fey, she carried us on her shoulders when she did that Sarah Palin impression. That was the hottest thing in the country, right?
That's a fact.
Alec Baldwin was the dude.
Yes.
Tracy Morgan was on fire. We go into these award shows, we start winning Emmys and stuff. And so me and Grizz, we at the award show, and there's like nine black people at this big old award show, and we backstage, and we see Matt Damon. Yo, Grizz, let's go over there and see if we could get a picture with Matt Damon. So we get close to Matt Damon. Matt Damon looks up and says, Grizz.com, hey, let me take a picture with y'all, right?
Oh,
so the biggest stars in the planet was checking for us. The star of the Game of Thrones, whatever
Khaleesi?
Khaleesi, she, oh, I love you guys, right? Like the biggest stars. When people from around the country, from around the hoods, turn on Channel 4 and see, wait, hold up, that's Kev on Channel 4? I'm thinking everybody's happy for me. But you know who wasn't happy? Those comics who stopped listening, and then I passed them, right? Because now they got to explain to their girlfriends and their baby moms, wait, ain't that the guy he was trying to help you? What happened? Well, I stopped listening. You can't tell people that. You can't tell people I stopped listening.
So they got to make it about some other bitch-ass shit.
Now they got to make it about something else, right? Because I shouldn't have passed that. All the comics were funnier than me. All the comics were more talented than me. All the comics had more experience than me, but I knew something that they didn't know. You got to still have honor. You got to still have loyalty, and you still got to be dependable. And if I can't depend on you, I'll never hire you a second time. And a lot of these comics are chasing the crumbs off the table, chasing the skirts, chasing the pretty smiles, chasing the $150 shows and trying to cut each other's throat for $200. I'll book you once and you get me once, but you ain't never gonna get me twice. So there's a lot of super talented guys, and y'all know who I'm talking about. Y'all, everybody that knows anybody in the comedy game, you know who I'm talking about. I don't have to say any names because it's not one person. There's 100 people.
Talent, Rob Stapleton, Capone.
Guys,
I could say a bunch of names.
I'm not saying names.
I do.
But the point is, a lot of those guys are so super talented. I'm looking at Cam for this one. They're so super talented. They should have made it. They was there.
Talent.
And
Rob Stapleton,
they
super talented.
But you gotta have honor in this game. You still gotta have honor. That amounts.
You don't have that, bro.
You still gotta have loyalty. You still can't forget where you came from, because the young dude that you crapping on today is gonna be running the studio tomorrow, and they gon' remember.
That's
they
a
gonna
fact.
Remember.
That's
People
a fact.
remember the things when you crap on them today. 20 years later, you gonna have to pay for that, and a lot of these guys, they gonna have to pay.
And turning on that Channel 4 was their way of paying. .com. Thank you for stopping by Behind the Laughs over at Seek Metaverse. I love you, big bro. I really do, Cash.
Yo, likewise, man. I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you.